What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol NVDA for NVIDIA Corp. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this will, of course, be an update. We talked about it just the other day on the channel. We also cover it regularly. The main thing to point out is the failed attempt to move higher up and out of the two-day balance range from Monday and Tuesday. We're firmly back down inside the midpoint of that overall section of the chart. Let me actually just adjust this, make it a little easier on the eyes. There we go. That's much better. So if we think about the candle structure and what's unfolding here, the bulls tried to make a stand. Obviously, that was a failed attempt, as we just pointed out. So there's a lot of disappointed longs who maybe tried to get involved on the recapture of 230, 332, and eventually they're going to hit their pain point where they close the position and it leads to added selling pressure. Now, I'm not saying that the stock all out collapses, but we're just kind of in the midpoint of the range. I would imagine that people who started to get involved there for the longer term horizon definitely have a stop underneath Monday's low, thinking that that may have been the bottom. So 207 is going to become an incredibly important number inside of NVIDIA as we move forward. Maybe it's even higher than that. It's like 208, given that the low of Monday's session is 208.88. You know, they're using an 88-cent buffer on the stop loss. Maybe they're just underneath 208 the whole dollar, so 207.75 maybe. I don't know. I'm just conjecturing about that. But any slide that starts to get us into this area is going to be incredibly important for all of those long positions that maybe got involved as we took out the high of Monday's session. That's what I'm thinking about from the daily time frame. If it starts breaking down underneath 207, let me pop this back on auto and we can search for a target underneath together. What we've got is just coming from the prior structural lows. If I do something like this, splitting the difference between the two, we're looking at roughly 195, maybe 200 psychological is going to be somewhere in there as well. So all things to think about, but I do think that the power of moving under Monday's low will be enough to really get this thing going to the downside. Again, speculative has not happened yet, just something I'm thinking about. From the 30-minute perspective, this is kind of what's keeping me biased to the downside, is the fact that we had this uptrend. We talked about the potential hold of this area here, yesterday's pullback lows as a higher low, but look at what happened. I mean, we did open higher. There was an opportunity to hold on to the short-term uptrend. However, I mean, we got there, didn't bounce, right? There was no bounce whatsoever, no attempt to preserve that as a higher low. And instead, what do we have now? Definitely a little bit of potential for a head and shoulders pattern, indicating that a break of this easily takes us back down towards that all-important area that we pointed out from the daily, roughly 208, 207, that general area. Monday's low, also the daily support trend line. If it breaks, we know we have that target underneath. The only thing that would save this chart as of right now is if immediately this reverses and now we have this as the higher low. It's got to find some sort of higher low and then produce a higher high. As we talked about earlier, I believe it was in yesterday's video, if we don't produce the higher high, then we just have a sideways trend and it strikes me as bearish acceptance instead of the bulls trying to push prices higher and make some sort of progress to the upside. We don't have that right now. So if this is going to hold as the higher low, it's got to make a higher high. Otherwise, I'm still bearish inside of NVIDIA. That's going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it today or learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.